Hello and welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast with me, Gareth, your host, and my ever vivacious, ever verbose, ever ready co-host, like the Energizer Bunny. He's got a couple of batteries stuffed up his ass. It's Keith.
Would you swallow a dictionary?
Thesaurus, mate. Thesaurus.
How are we doing?
I'm doing all right. Just I've got a bad wind at the moment, but no one can smell it, so that's a good thing.
I went to a shopping mall and there was in Bangkok, a new one, and there was lots of really nice food, so we could barely fit out of it. We couldn't walk out. It was, yeah, it was really good. What you been watching this week, dude?
Clarkson's Farm,
Yes,
Gambit, Star Trek, and Predator: Killer of Killers. Oh, and
what's that on?
Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out then. I hadn't seen that released on Disney. I watched Department Q on Netflix, which was actually quite good.
Okay.
It's a new sort of cop drama set in Scotland, so you know it's murder. But it's got I don't know if you know the actor, but there's a really satisfying moment in it, right? It's an English cop in Scotland, right? But like, there's a Scottish gangster, right? That's putting pressure on him, and he sends like this big dude to sort of scare the shit out of the son, right? And as this guy gets up and walks out, the copper walks in, looks at the face of his son, sees the guy walking out, realizes what's gone on, right, and turns around. And unlike any other cop show, he proceeds to kick the living shit out of him, and it's really satisfying because this guy's like threatening this poor kid, and he beats the shit out of him. It's brilliant. I found it very satisfying because usually when you see that, they get arrested. And all you want to do when they're like bullying kids is you want to have the shit kicked out of them. So it happens. So for that, it's very good. And actually, it's not your typical cop show. It's worth a watch. It's quite good.
Oh, good.
It's really good.
Oh, what was the other thing? I started watching Sliders.
Oh, awesome.
I started watching Sliders, and because I was watching some YouTube videos on the history of Sliders and how they just
I saw that.
Absolutely fucked it up.
Yeah.
So it's like, in my opinion, it was good up until season 3, and then went to shit after that.
Yeah, I mean, those early episodes were really quite good. Even now, they're still quite good. But yeah, it did kind of go a bit fucking batshit.
What I like is Jerry O'Connell and Reese, what's his name? Gimli from Lord of the Rings. They used to go out drinking when they were working on the show together, which is just bizarre. Of all the people.
The dude that played Lex Luthor in Smallville does a podcast now, right?
Yeah.
And a video stream. And he did an interview with Reese, what's his face, and it's fucking brilliant because you really get to see how much down to earth that guy is, and it's great. And it was a really, really good interview. It's one of my favourites he's done. And you respect him in a new light. I mean, that guy's a legend anyway. I mean, Indiana Jones, Gimli, and
did he recall the story when they were filming Raiders Lost Ark? And there's a cut scene from it where the Nazis line him up in front of a firing squad.
I think I do know this story, but go on.
They did it. They went fire, and he just shat himself because it all had diarrhea really badly.
Yes, he did talk about that. Yes, he did.
It was always just like kind of no. He goes, what's it? Steven Spielberg and I can't remember one of the other producers. Were having all their food flown in and water flown in from England because they didn't want to catch anything, and the others didn't. And I just realised I got the bloody story on. Oh,
Well, we've revealed the first story. Shall we talk about it then?
Let's hang on a second. Let's do this. Something wasn't right. Marvel Comics has dropped a huge bombshell in Marvel Knights, the World to Come miniseries, set in the near future of Earth 616. King T'Challa has a son named Ketema, who is white, blonde, and poised to take over the throne of Wakanda. The controversy has exploded online with rabid fans across X and Reddit using terms like White Panther and Pink Panther to express their surprise. We made jokes online. It's not just us who make jokes about recasting Black Panther as Ryan Gosling. Yeah, and there's images.
Oh, that's been going around online for the last week everywhere.
That existed way before then, and it's just like kind of maybe they're going to make it happen. I find it mad. It really is absolutely barking mad. But fuck it. If it happens one way, why not make it happen the other way?
The interesting thing is, like, so the hateful lefties, as I'm now calling them, the hate-filled lefties are going, why are we not being so indignant? See, I told you they're all racist. It's like, this is so preposterous that I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I'm annoyed about certain race swaps like Snape and things like that. But this is so, when we say you would not do it the other way, we mean it. So when this got announced, it's just like,
if he was ginger, Keith, if he was ginger, spot on.
Either the writers are really fucking trolling the fan base. They have gone so fucking woke that they've gone full circle and realised that this is actually really quite bad, right? Or I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they're trolling the fan base just to get some publicity and sell a few comics, because let's face it, Marvel do need to sell a few comics. Yeah. But really, I mean, what the fuck? I mean, it's not right. It is not right, but it's not right on both sides. I mean, you know, I think making Snake black is not right, especially when the character. This is not right, but it's so preposterous that it's I don't. Either they have gone so damn woke that they've gone full circle, which wouldn't surprise me, because most of these fucking radical leftists are borderline fascists. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is a woke move, but it's just.
So part of me is like, what the fuck? Because it logically doesn't make any sense. And the other part of me is laughing because it is just so fucking preposterous. If he turns around and says it's a union between King T'Challa and Victor Von Doom, that would just put the icing on the cake. But it's mad. It is absolutely mad. But this is the first time I've seen this happen outside Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. Because they did it to Ty.
They did it to Ty. They did it to Boomer. Yeah. They did it to Starbuck.
Well, Starbuck was the first sort of gender swapped character. Well, they'd done it before, but it was the first notable one. Although it does kind of work.
Oh, it does work in the overall story because they were going down a different route with their storytelling. And yeah, it's. I just find one of those stories where you're just like, no.
You know, at first because I'd seen the Ryan Gosling thing all week on Facebook, and I thought, yeah, they're taking the piss, right? And then you sent me that, and I went, I thought that was bullshit. And now I'm going, I mean, based upon these people's logic, especially with what they did with Sir Isaac Newton, fuck Ryan Gosling playing T'Challa. He should play Nelson Mandela.
No.
Because that's their logic. I mean, now that this is acceptable, which it isn't, by the way.
Bryan Cranston for the Netflix adaptation of Nelson Mandela's life. Just saying.
I mean, what the fuck are they thinking? Genuinely, they're trolling us. That's the I think it's that they're trolling us. They want to see they don't have the same reaction as they did with Snape. The thing is, Snape is believable, so it makes you angry. Nobody thinks they're ever going to do it the other way. So when they do, it is so preposterous.
Absurd.
It's absurd. We laugh at it. I mean, yes, it pisses me off, right? But at the same time, it's absurd because it's nuts. I mean, these people's logic, it's just nuts. Yeah, well done, Marvel. You're not, piss off everybody now.
Yeah. It is just mind-blowingly stupid.
I mean, it's trying to make a talking point. It's trolling, and it's Hollywood not learning. It's Marvel Comics really not learning. It's a subtle attack on their fan base, which it is. And it's insane. When are you going to learn? Just when are these people going to learn?
Yeah.
I mean, did you see the news this week? Jaguar finally admitted that their advertising campaign might have been a little bit stupid and fired the advertising agency.
It looked crap. It looked crap.
In a week of things that no one saw coming.
In a week
reading
of
to that what you might think. But I mean, it just. Oh dear God.
Yeah. It just needs to be ginger.
Whatever these people are on, can I have some, please?
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so
ginger would have been
just
better.
ginger would have worked better. Just saying, ginger. Think about all those gingers that you've replaced. You can put them back.
And when he's asked, "What do you think about your dad?" King T'Challa. No, he's all right.
Make a joke about the what do you call it? The fact that King T'Challa was there in, I don't know, Sweden or wherever he was born, but he just decided to pop out to the shops and never came back. And on that note.
Oh no! What?
Taylor Sheridan, Tulsa King, is branching out, and the legendary actor Samuel L. Jackson is stepping into the spotlight. Nolan King is a new spin-off rumored to hit Paramount Plus following Samuel L. Jackson's guest introduction in Tulsa King Season 3. He'll star as Russell Lee Washington Jr., a New Orleans crime lord akin to Stallone's Memphis gangster Dwight the General Manfredi, and will also serve as executive producer. Renowned writer David Erickson, mayor of Kingstown, is writing the show under Sheridan and David C. Glasner's executive production umbrella. Expect Jackson to appear in multiple Tulsa King episodes shooting in July, and then shift the focus to Nolan King's production that begins around February.
I'm looking forward to season 3 of Tulsa King. But this Taylor Sheridan, right? Fuck me. I mean, no wonder it takes like 3 years to get a bloody season at a time. This Taylor Sheridan is the guy that makes Yellowstone, 1923, 1883. And if you haven't watched it yet, Landman, which is fucking brilliant. He makes everything. But, dude, Tulsa King, the great Sylvester Stallone and Samuel L. Jackson on screen.
Yeah, that's going to be good. It's not just him. David Glasser, whatever his name is, he's the executive producer on this. Pretty much every Taylor Sheridan thing, and Mobland, and a load of other stuff. It's all the good stuff, by the way, just like to point out.
Oh yeah,
it's all the stuff that you watch and you go, yeah. Oh yeah.
I liked it. But I mean, if you haven't seen Landman, you should watch that because again, genuinely, it's fucking good. I really liked Tulsa King. Both seasons were amazing, and when I saw the fact that they're going to bring, Samuel motherfucking Jackson into it, it's even better. I'm looking forward to it. And I have to say, I've started watching. I started watching 1883 because I thought I'd do it in order, right? And then you've got 1923 with, funny enough, Heather Merriman and Harrison Ford, who's actually genuinely quite good in it. And then, of course, you've got Yellowstone, although there was some falling out with old Kevin Costner, but Costner's a bit nuts anyway. So
I don't even think he's that good an actor.
But I mean, I gotta say, once I realised that all these series that I quite like all made by the same fucking guy, I was like, oh, okay, that makes some sense. But I genuinely enjoyed Landman because that's the last thing I watched really. But yeah, Sylvester Stallone. I love Tulsa King. You put me onto that, and it fucking awesome. Really good. Genuinely. So yeah, no, I'm pleased with this news. I like it when there is good TV to look forward to. And despite the current era we live in, there is still good TV to look forward to. Paradise Season 2, early next year.
Mm-hmm.
That has got a release date of February, apparently. We've got I think it's the end of August, Slow Horses, because they announced that date.
Oh, excellent.
So, there's a promising... The first 3 episodes I quite enjoyed that just started this week on Apple TV called Stick with... who's the... what's his name? The blonde guy in bloody Loki that we like. What's his name? The actor.
He's got a brother.
Yeah.
Olsen.
Olsen. Yeah. He plays... He plays a washed out golf pro, and it's quite amusing. It's quite amusing. So yes,
yeah. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Samuel Jackson, not a bad person to feature a TV series around. I'll be honest with you, he's probably up for it more than doing anything else, given everything. So it'll be pretty good, I hope. So let's move on to the next story. Okay, so James Gunn's Superman allegedly underwent significant changes after test screening, and the runtime has been revealed. So the shorter runtime now has been trimmed by about 25 minutes to aim for a more leaner. It's 122 to 129 minutes in the final cut. Tone adjustments, Gunn's dialed down some of the comedic bits, favouring a more serious vibe and emotionally grounded. Less classic patriotism. The traditional truth, justice, and the American way line was reportedly removed from the earlier version. I don't know if it's been put back in, doesn't say that. And then it's like Warner Brothers insist on tighter pacing. Nothing wrong with that because, we want to get many people in the cinema out and then the next lot in, keep the box offices up. And then it's like kind of, yeah. So nearly, 40 years. This is
Gunn's put out a statement this week since then saying the studio hasn't, forced him to do any cut, and the cut was, the time was down to him. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I think he tried to inject more humor because arguably, apparently, the same kind of thing happened with his what's his face DC movie. Suicide Squad, and that was sort of somewhat toned down. Gunn does have a tendency to go full wacky, and then it gets scaled back. Sorry, America, but I'm not entirely surprised that they've removed the truth thing in the American way, because this movie's got to do well worldwide, and people are not.
Yeah, but no. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think
that in there, it's going to piss a lot of people off.
No. I think that's no. I don't think it's going to piss that many people off. The people it was going to piss off weren't going to watch it anyway. Yeah, that's I think that's the truth behind it. I think that's part of Superman, who Superman is. Yeah, and it is part of who Superman is. It's like expecting Batman not to skulk around in the shadows. It's not going to happen. No, it's Superman is that thing, and it's a weird thing because you want. So I got to use Doctor Who's example. You want Doctor Who to have a big chunk of Britishness about it. Yeah, that's the appeal to it. Same with James Bond. Yeah, you want the Britishness in there. Yeah, you want a British gentleman that a time traveller. You want like kind of the James Bond, the spy aspect. You want him to be British. You don't want him to be fucking Ugandan. Yeah, or American. Yeah, or heaven forbid, French. So I think removing that American aspect from an American superhero is a bad thing. I really do think it's a bad thing.
I don't think removing his American identity is a good thing, but I think truth, justice, and the American way doesn't mean what it did in the 1940s and 50s.
Right. So
and
if I'm gonna raise you, yeah, truth, justice, the American way. The American way sometimes is shock and awe, which might fit with Superman.
There, I will concede that you have a point.
Yeah.
But I think it will. I think it will jar people who go and see it that don't necessarily have the same knowledge of the character as say you and I do.
No, I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case. I really don't think. I think it's something that's ingrained into American culture. Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't have him, fly the Star-Spangled Banner. I just think the line doesn't mean it. I'm not saying that I don't think he should, he should like use a different accent. I mean, the fact that the last Superman was British, just saying. I don't.
Good job.
He did a very good job. In fact, most of the last American superheroes have all been English. Peter Parker, twice.
Last Batman.
Yeah. Anyway, I have no problem in following the Star-Spangled Banner. I have no problem in turning his cloak into an American flag. I think the line doesn't mean the same, and it has been taken out of previous movies for a while now. I don't think he should, they should tone down his identity. He was brought up in America. He was brought up in a small American town, and therefore should totally be American.
Yeah.
But as somebody who's moved into foreign countries, yes, there is things about British, but this is going on about, I don't think the line works, and I'm going to leave it there because I could get into it why, and I would have a very good reason. I just don't think
part of me,
that line works.
Part of me is it's trendy for the media to hate on America. And
that I agree with. That I agree with.
And removing it. So my advice is if you ever heard the expression? I'm sorry, if you ever done that disaster training or anything, if an explosion goes off, yeah, the crowd tend to run towards the explosion. Did you know that? So why not, if everyone's running towards said explosion of "We hate America," go the fucking opposite direction, and you might have a different audience.
I absolutely think he should be, sitting there, waving the American flag. I absolutely, sitting there singing the national anthem. Maybe even pledging allegiance to American. He was brought up in America as an American. He absolutely should have that attitude. It's the line that I'll rephrase this. I understand why they took that line out. Do I think it's right that people unnecessarily hate on America? No, I don't. I think it's wrong. I absolutely think Superman should be an American, and it should be a proud American, and he should stand for what's good about America, right? And there should be no problem in him, flying the flag and everything else. It's the phrase, that phrase has a lot of issues. And I'm not just talking, in fact, I'm not even relating to modern day politics before anybody asks. There are other issues there. But
okay, I can imagine it not going down very well in Vietnam. Maybe Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, I found visiting Vietnam very uneasy because I actually came to America's defense quite a bit when I visited Vietnam, especially the tunnels. In fact, I got very, very, very angry with them, and I walked out of the War Museum because it was all a load of bullshit. So if you're an American, Saigon, or shall we say Ho Chi Minh City, I don't know what it's like 15 years on from when I went there, but it was still very propagandist when I was there. And they took a lot of glee in the fact that they could, and don't get me wrong, what the Viet Cong did in the jungle, if you take out the war and that side of it, was quite something to behold. You just don't need all the propaganda around it, especially when they failed to mention that there were people that were drafted to that war. So, and died in the jungle through no goddamn choice of their own. But we're getting oblique here. Let's move. Peace and love to America. That's all I'm going to say on that. Because I'm not knocking you, America. I'm not. He's not.
His address is... Disney has confirmed it's laying off several hundred employees across global divisions, primarily within TV and film marketing, TV publicity, casting, development, and some corporate finance roles. The cuts are focused on the US teams, but will also impact offices overseas. Notably, no entire teams are being disbanded. The staff are being reduced as a more surgical than sweeping actions. These mark the fourth major layoffs waves in the past 10 months, following the previous rounds affecting ABC News, National Geographic's Freeform, Disney Animation TV. It's Disney Plus that's caused this.
Oh, I'm shocked.
It's that simple.
I'm shocked.
It's Disney Plus. Oh.
Nobody predicted this.
It's Disney Plus that's caused this. It's funny, they were talking about this thing about streaming wars, where all the TV and movie companies went into the streaming wars, One company stood out and went, nah, we're not doing it, we're not that fucking stupid. Sony is the only one that's won because they didn't fucking engage. So what they've managed to do is they've cannibalized their own physical media business. If they'd left Netflix to be Netflix and Amazon Prime to be Amazon Prime, and they just concentrated on the model as it was, they would have made it. So for example, Captain America Brave New World, out in the cinema recently, dropped onto Disney Plus. Disney Plus makes fuck all from that. If they'd have given it to Netflix or to Prime, they'd have made some money from that, but they didn't.
This is an interesting one, right? Disney decided arrogantly to make their own platform, right? And Paramount did, and both of those have largely failed. Max is not doing so badly, right? Netflix is not doing so badly. Prime, despite their things, is not doing so badly. They had a streaming platform in the US. They already had a partnership in Hulu, right? Which they could have... Hulu, whatever the fuck you call it.
Hulu!
I don't care. I don't care the name.
Hulu.
Stupid fucking name anyway. Right.
Honolulu.
Why the hell Disney just didn't do deals? You see, Disney fucked Marvel because of Disney Plus by making all these shitty shows. They had to make shitty shows, right, in order to sell it, right? And, after the first two, people went, well, this is shit, and then started running away. And that completely invested in the MCU, and they've all but admitted that. I mean, there are people out there going, "Oh, that was the same for Star Wars." Nah, The Last Jedi did that. In fact, the first Disney Plus Star Wars show was all right. But go on, sorry.
I was going to say, it's the fact that they spent so much on these shows too. It's ridiculous. Like, what was Andor was like 600 and something million.
Yeah, I don't quite know where the 650 went.
Right,
but
right. So what? Not on Andor.
Yeah, okay, it was on those huge sets, but it was amazing.
It was on those fucking huge, huge sets and filming on location. Tony Gilroy had an interview with, I can't remember, some podcast, and he turned around and he said, started filming season 1, and they said, don't fuck with the Empire. Yeah, don't fuck up the Empire whatsoever. I went, all right, fair enough. Got to season 2. First thing he gets, streaming is dead. You've got to finish it off on season 2. And he's gone, all right then. And then worked on finishing it off on season 2. He did a good job. It's probably the only one that I can point to that's done a good job. Disney should have done the sensible thing, and Disney Plus should have just been the back catalogue for everything Disney.
I don't agree with that. I don't think there should be a Disney Plus platform.
Just needed to be all the back catalogue. Think about it, right? So just think about, they've got all these TV shows and stuff. They just put them on Disney Plus, and you can watch them as and when you want. Nothing new, yeah? You license them out periodically to Amazon and to Netflix, yeah? And then you just have your own things there. That's it. You don't need to do anything more than that. Every time a show comes out, it's backed up on Disney Plus. No more than that.
I mean, if they'd been sensible, right, they would have done deals with Netflix or Prime, right? And, you know, Prime could have upped their subscription fee, and Netflix can up their subscription fee, and people will pay it because they won't be paying for multiple platforms. You see, I don't think streaming is dead, right? I think multiple streaming platforms are dead because what they charge for Disney Plus. I mean, you pay all this money for Disney Plus. You guys don't have HBO Max in the thing. You've got the Sky deal, so if you've got Sky, you get HBO shit on that, right? So Max is doing quite well around the world because of certain deals that they've got. So let's say the 3 platforms: HBO Max, Prime, and then you get all the Warner Brothers content on HBO Max or the Sky equivalent. But the thing is, people don't want to watch adverts anymore. People don't, right? Live TV and watching TV on watching sort of terrestrial channels, that is dead. Right, and all these companies that still try and focus on advertising. I mean, the thing is, we don't want advertising anymore. These advertising is dead. Modern advertising is just so. This is the thing that I keep on. Tell me a modern ad that you remember that's clever these days, right? And then go back and think about all the clever ads that were 20 years ago when we were young. And I can remember hundreds of them. That was when advertising and TV advertising was clever, but they got fucking lazy. And the internet came in, and the thing is, we find ways now to get rid of advertisements, and we don't want to watch ads. We don't. That's why we like streaming platforms.
I'm going to be honest with you, the ads are the most woke things I can see on TV.
Yes. I mean,
I've not seen this. I have not seen a straight white couple in any of the ads on UK TV. Yeah, I watched one for financing, yeah, and it just had to get it in there. It was a gay couple right at the end. I was like, why did you didn't need to do that. You just had the guy sitting on the sofa, have done with it, boom, boom, and that way it appeals to everyone. And then, and I don't know why they do it, and it doesn't make any sense. I just
Disney fucked their own platform. I keep saying Disney are not that far away from actually going under, and I truly believe that. Because they have spent way more than they're admitting on this. Their budgets are out of control. Their movies are genuinely shit, right? They haven't, Leo and Stitch is a hit. It's a remake. It's a live action remake,
and hold on a second, and it's a bad remake. It is an actual bad remake. Right, so let's just pause and. So the first thing, Lilo and Stitch, yeah, is they talk about Ohana family, yeah? So they got a neighbour in there, all right, which wasn't in the original. Neighbour doesn't do anything to help them. We talk about family working together. Doesn't do anything to help them. The end, Lilo's sister fucks off to university, where she stayed and supported her in the original one, yeah, and gives her over to the fucking government and the neighbour. But the neighbour could have been helping, yeah? Neighbour could have been bringing around dinners, helping tidy up, looking after her so she didn't have to take her to work, yeah? Doesn't make any fucking sense. The only really good thing I'll be honest with you, you need to cut out all the stuff and just have Lilo and Stitch and just
get out
remove
of
all
California.
the other nonsense.
It's got to get out of California. A lot of people don't. It's a bubble. These people truly live in a bubble. They truly believe what they're saying, and it's bullshit. Disney's got to get out of California, and it's got to stop casting its writers and casting its directors. It's got to actually start employing people that might not have the same politics, but can actually write a decent freaking movie or a decent TV show. You've got to start employing people that think. You've got to stop employing people that agree with you or people from minorities because you're box ticking. Or you're done for, Disney. You're done for. And I mean, again, in a week of who could have, who didn't predict this, this was entirely predictable.
I find it amusing.
Years.
I find it amusing that they talk about this DEI stuff and they've introduced it, and their production costs have skyrocketed. Do you know why? Because they haven't hired efficient people. They've not gone down the lean route and just have the right people in the right places who could do the job. No, they've had to put someone in there and then put someone in there who can actually do the job at the same time too. But ironically, the person who can do the job is the one that went up over fucking looking because they're the wrong skin colour, which is racist in itself to prejudge someone. Full stop.
They have destroyed their two biggest IPs, right? And it is not through fatigue. It is not through fatigue, because you only have to look at the things that we've talked about in the last Picard season 3. And other things around that for people to get behind these things again. Andor has reignited a love of Star Wars that people had forgotten about, and that's why you're seeing things like Battlefront 2, which is went from a couple of hundred players a week now to thousands again, and a demand for a third game. That all came from Andor, right? Rogue One is still
and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, and no, that's fair. Revenge of the Sith in the US. But there is still a love for this IP. I still love Star Wars. I fucking loved Andor, and I got really excited about it, and it reignited my love of the original good Star Wars. I still like Star Trek. But good Star Trek. Not this skin deep Star Trek made by people that don't understand what the show is, don't care what it means to people, because all they care about is looking good, looking like they're good people. But as I pointed out to, I made a comment the other day because, so there was something about Kevin Smith, and I said I was a huge Kevin Smith fan until he had his heart attack. Then he became a pussy. Right, and he started pandering to Hollywood, and before that, he would say when something was shit. He would call people out on this woke shit. Then he started pandering, right? And somebody goes, "Well, somebody made this really shitty comment, going, no, he just, he didn't like The Last Jedi. He just didn't want to be full of negativity, unlike you." And I just went to somebody who goes on about being, not liking negativity, unlike you, seems a pretty negative comment. In fact, almost hateful. You people think you're so much better, but you're not. You're entirely fueled by hate. And that's the difference between us and you. We just want good TV.
That's the thing, is they everything that they do is to hate and to spite and to impress upon what they think are correct views, which aren't. And I love it when they sit there and it's like kind of, what's the expression they use? something about history, being on the right side of history. Guys, you're not on the right side of history.
No.
If you look at history, all of history, you're not on the right side of history.
You see, I keep saying this. 15 years ago, the world was going in the right direction. We all knew what was right and wrong, right? You know, most people were perfectly behind same-sex marriages. No one really gave a shit. If there was a trans guy walking down the road, some people might look at him and think it's a bit odd, but nobody would really sit there and stare. And then all this shit erupted online. And all you've done for your causes is push it back 20 years. Because now people groan every time they see, like you just did with the talking about the gay advert. And I absolutely understand because I have the same reactions, right? And then I knock myself for it because it's like, why am I, because I don't actually have a fucking problem with this. But the trouble is, it's always in my face. It's in every fucking show that I watch. It's, they've taken over characters that I've liked. Instead of creating new characters, no, we had to completely hijack the Doctor Who show and, turn the Doctor into a gay person because the Doctor was never about sex, ever. Literally, the character was asexual. Right, and you turned him into sexual because you fancied the guy that was playing him, Russell. But it's
right,
madness. And the thing is, we're simple people. Picard season 3, loved it. Paradise, loved it.
Keith, just on a quick note, that Doctor Who reveal with Billy Piper at the end.
Yeah, I know.
If she'd have turned round to the camera and looked at it and gone, "Bad wolf," you'd have been a bit more fucking excited.
Yes.
Because that would have gone somewhere. That would have interesting story. Anyway.
But the thing is, I'm still a Doctor Who fan. Because I watched a couple of old Tennant episodes the other day. Then I watched the 11th Hour because it just popped up on the YouTube thing and I went, I still love Doctor Who. This was fucking awesome. Matt Smith was probably the best Doctor. I still love Doctor Who. I am still a Doctor Who fan. I am utterly appalled at what it has become. And there was a time when Doctor Who was hugely popular in America. When I went to New York, walked into the, I can't remember the name of the bookstore chain, but there was this huge Doctor Who section. And it was amazing. And I was so proud. Because it's like, all my favourite shows are American. And there's this one little British show, right, that I love and I'm hugely passionate about. And there was this huge section devoted to it in an American store. I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And the BBC kind of just fucked it because they've got a head of drama that should have been fired years ago.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Hang on a second. A bit of a palate cleanser for you, Keith. Couldn't find a stop button. Mia Goth, renowned for her thrilling roles in horror films like Surprise Ya and X and Maxine, has officially been cast as a main villain in Star Wars Starfighter, starring opposite Ryan Gosling. Goth steps into the role after Mikey Madsen, fresh off her Oscar win for Anora, exited over salary disagreements. Where's my money? Give me my money. The film director Sean Levy and with screenplay by Jonathan Topper, and it's the film is directed by Sean Levy and a screenplay by Jonathan Topper and scheduled for release 28th of May 2027. Filming begins fall 2025 in England. This was going to be Patty Jenkins' film, wasn't it? The Rogue, the Starfire one.
Sure, but
because her one was supposed to be about.
Depending on what you read about it, there's parts of me that are going, this sounds almost interesting, but again, Disney Star Wars. But maybe they've learned.
Well, they've got Sean Levy as director, which he can direct. Okay, can he do anything absolutely fantastic? No, but he'll deliver okay. So we're looking at okay. Ryan Gosling, pretty okay. He's an actor. Woman is a bad guy.
Yep. I've got to admit, right? I mean, Ryan Gosling, I've liked him in a few things recently. I really liked what was the stunt film that was actually quite good.
Fall Guy.
Fall Guy. He was quite good in that. I am looking forward to what he does to my second favourite novel, because I think he can play it. The film is coming out next year, although there's people talking about it being Oscar winning. I don't want it to be in the tone of the Neil Armstrong film because it was terrible. But if he does it in the tone, if they keep the tone of the book, it's going to be one of the greatest sci-fi films, modern sci-fi films in a long time. Project Hail Mary.
What is it? Okay.
Project Hail Mary. It's from the author of The Martian, which is my favourite book. The film, Ridley Scott completely screwed the film, although Matt Damon was quite good as the main character.
Leave him there! Leave him there!
He was quite good as the character. But Project Hail Mary is a fucking good book, and it's a really the main character is very interesting. He is not your typical hero. I'm looking forward to what they do on film. And I love the ending of the book. If the film, here's a good one. If the film sticks to the source material, it's going to be up there. Because I think Ryan Gosling can deliver the performance. I think he will play the character really well, as long as he doesn't do what he did in Neil Armstrong, where he just like played this completely fucking emo version of Neil Armstrong. He might as well have had dark eye paint and fucking black lip liner throughout the whole film. It's a terrible film.
Did they have the bit where he crashes the plane and they look for his body and he's sitting at his desk filling out the report before he forgets it?
Yeah, but it was done in a really emo way. It's a terrible film, Gareth. It's a terrible film. It's really depressing, and
it's weird because so the story goes: Neil Armstrong's a test pilot, crashes a plane. He crashes the plane. He gets out of the plane, runs to the desk so he can write down everything before he forgets it. While that's happening, they are going through the plane looking for his body because they think he's dead, but he's too busy going. And it always gave me the expression like, kind of, dude, I need to remember this. I'm going to forget it. And then did that. But if you're saying that story was sold differently in the film, I'm a bit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Armstrong was a serious man, and he could be quite thingy. But when you make a film about him, you're making a film about a genuine American hero. You could have made it a bit more happy. Come on. But no, I mean, look, I'm cautiously looking forward to this because, again, as you said, they've actually hired somebody that can make films. They haven't cast the director. They've got a decent character actor in the lead role, and the name's kind of cool. So, and if it's going to be about fucking, star fights in space, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I hear Starfighter, it reminds me of The Last Starfighter, which was a good movie.
Yeah,
it was a fucking good movie.
Do you think they'll change it to Star Wars X-Wing?
No, I think keep it as Starfighter. I like it as Starfighter. I like the title. But this is what they should be doing. That fuck Disney Plus series, except Andor, because Andor was brilliant, right? They should be making a movie every couple of years that people get excited about. Stop over fucking flooding the thing. You see, the thing is, if they just released a movie every 2 years, right, and and hadn't done what they'd done in The Last Jedi, they'd be making $1 billion every Star Wars film. Every Star Wars film. But what did Disney do? Next Disney product. Shareholders of Disney, I'm pleading with you. Fire all of the management. Get rid of the heads of these studios and employ people that actually know what they're doing. And get the fuck out of California. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this film. Kinda.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the Sean Levy thing is an example of the fact that they're trying something different.
unlike Star
They are
Trek,
trying.
they are at the moment. Yes, people are still pissed off with Disney Star Wars, but there is this cautious optimism. There is, I mean, even bloody Theory finally admitted, although he's still a child because he complains about the first 6 episodes of Andor being boring. Dude, understand character development. But he even now admits that like 8, 9, and 10 and 12, the last few are some of the best Disney Star Wars ever made, which I agree with. But I think those first.
The problem with Andor is science fiction, where Star Wars is science fantasy, and people have issues with that, and I can understand that completely. I'm a big science fiction fan. Yeah, we know this. Yeah. And science fantasy is more Star Wars, yeah,
But
and
that
it needs to.
Whilst I agree exactly, there are going to be people. I understand that there are Star Wars fans who genuinely would not have liked this, but with the extent, the EU of Star Wars, there was lots of things like this in the EU. They had like all the crime underworld series, right? Fucking Lucas himself, his TV series wasn't going to be fantasy. It was going to be a crime series set on bloody Coruscant. Right, and it was going to be Lucas himself was going this route, regardless of everybody. Theory bangs on about George was making a fucking Underworld series, right, which would have been kind of like freaking Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels on Coruscant kind of thing. It was kind of that.
Could you imagine a Guy Ritchie Star Wars?
I'd love to see that, but that's the thing. I think you can do that with Star Wars, and people have done it in the novels, and some of those have been
right.
hugely popular.
I've just realised that would have been the perfect Han Solo film.
Yes.
Guy Ritchie style heist movie with Han Solo done by him would have worked.
But
and he's been on Disney payroll too, so
Star Wars has such a huge fan base. We don't all love the same thing. Yeah, okay, we all love lightsabers. Who the fuck doesn't, right? I mean, I'll never forget. I'll never forget the time that I bought one of those Force FX lightsabers. My parents, especially my mother, went, "You're buying expensive toys," and I just went, "Mother, shut up." And she looked at me, and went, "No." And I put the lightsaber in her hand. I went, "Switch it on," and it goes like that. And I went, "Switch it off, switch it back on." Now, do you understand? She just went. So even my mum got it. Right? So we all like lightsabers. But I think there are things in Star Wars that people love that others don't. I love the droids. I love the silly characters. I love some of the silly aliens. I fucking love Jawas because they make me laugh. But I also liked Andor because it was a seriously grown-up thing that made the Empire fucking dangerous. Right? Yeah. And I liked that. And in fact, that's what Lucas did with the original Star Wars film. And I like the idea of like a crime show or an underworld show set in the thing. And one of the things that, had they done the Solo movie right, would have been interesting is revisiting Maul's underworld thing. That could have been really interesting. I think you can do things in Star Wars. The problem is Disney fucked it. So, but I think Andor has done something, and there's an awakening, Gareth, and done right, and not too heavy, and not you like that? Come on, you like that pun?
No, because I didn't like you liked that film when that came out, and I was like, it feels like the greatest hits to me rather than an actual
film. No, you're right.
Film.
But I've admitted that. But no, there's been an awakening in terms of in the fandom that Andor has shown that Disney can make good Star Wars. So yeah, look, at the moment, the people that seem to be making this film are competent, at least.
Yeah, they can make a film and they can make an okay film. Whether they make a great film, something else entirely. But I think Star Wars needs to go through a period of okay, just to help the people.
I just got to. I know we're going to go through the chat, but there is one thing I wanted to. Laura's comment about Ryan Gosling as Ken. I'll give you that. I agree with that. He was actually quite good at not. It's a movie.
People
for
like Ken
people.
in the Barbie.
Yeah,
they like Ken more than they liked Barbie in that film.
Yes. even though Ken was meant to be and not the
bad
hero.
guy.
But I think
Antagonist.
Gosling kind of did that. Anyway, we've got one more story, haven't we?
One more story. Let's what should we have? We'll have all this. Tom Felton, the original Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter film, will reprise his role in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway. His run begins on November the 11th, 2025, at the Lyric Theatre, and the last 19 weeks, marking his Broadway debut. This is a milestone, the first time an original cast member has joined the stage production. Proudly, Felton shares an emotional reaction, stepping back into his shoes as Draco's shoes as a father, the same age as the character in the story. Full circle, Felton says, "I think I'm dreaming. I let go of the character 16 years ago, and now I get to meet Draco as an adult." Yeah, so fan excitement, the social buzz around it is thrilled to see Felton making back, and some hopes that he'll join the HBO cast for the upcoming Harry Potter show, maybe as Lucius Malfoy. It would be a good bit of casting. As far as I know, he's the only member that hasn't pissed off J.K. Rowling.
No, he's not. The Love Good actress got a lot of bump for it, and she, yeah.
Oh, she'd be a great divination teacher. Who's the divination teacher? She'd be great.
Why am I so? I've read those books a million times back, and I've
don't we
Tanith.
Don't watch the movie.
Tanith.
Who's the divination teacher?
I forgot.
Glasses, played by Emma Thompson.
God's sake.
Fucking hell, this is terrible.
I was talking about her yesterday with
Trelawney.
Students. Trelawney, thank you. Because we were talking about the prophecy. One of the courses on I've got a Chinese student who's a big Harry Potter fan, and we talk about themes of the books and the films, and we were talking about the prophecy that Trelawney makes. It doesn't matter. You know it better than me. I'm useless with names. I've forgotten. Yes, she would make a good Trelawney.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard that this has been going around for quite a long time. Tom Felton would be good as Lucius Malfoy. I kind of agree with it. This is one closer. This is one step closer to that actually happening. They won't you won't get an announcement on him until. You see, here's the thing, right? HBO have got to do. They've got to make a season of this shit every year.
Yeah, they can't beat around the bush. But it's not like they haven't got source material, Keith.
Well, I mean, they've all that land that they've turned into the sets because they're building private drivers. Those are pictures of they've also actually built a permanent village there where everyone's going to live. They've built a school for all the people that there because they're basically going to have to live there, go to school, and film. Although these kids are made for life, but I would support Tom. You see, I'm going to watch this series despite my absolute thing of Snape, because every other fucking casting is being really good. That's what really annoys me. Really annoys me. The kids look like the kids, and I'm. Hey, it really annoys me, Gareth, because I would be really excited about this. Like, genuinely. I mean, I listening to you, you say how you're all Harry Potter fans. I'm with you. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan as well, and I love Harry Potter. I always have. I've never grown out of it. And I still love them, and I really want to see them make a full. The TV is made for this. It's just the freaking Snape.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
We'll get there.
But yeah, good on Tom Felton. Right, we've still got a lot to get through. So
we've got two trailers and some comments. Let's go through the comments first. So let's put the music on. Time for the comments. There we go. So first in was Steve. Steve gets the gold star this week. Hi, Steve.
First time. Well done, Steve.
First time. Yeah.
Gold medal.
And then Chuck gets the silver. And then Laurie, she gets the bronze.
And then...
And then it goes, yard work is too important. Oh, crikey. Doing that. So we got that. We got... Oh, Chuck setting up 80 terabyte. Do you need 80 terabytes? 54 usable.
Dude.
What is he doing?
Dude, he's American. Of course he knows. Everything's massive in America. So whereas we use 4 terabytes, he'll use 40. It's just American. It's American portions, isn't it? American hard drives. Same thing. Same principle. Their houses are all 20 times the size of ours, right? And they call that a small house. They've got the land. They've got the size. It's supersized. Supersized.
Yes, before I watched Predator Killer of Killers, I really didn't like the first story. And I'm hoping Keith can watch it and he'll understand why I didn't like the first story. We do not embrace the current American way of isolationism from the rest of the planet. But I don't see that at all. I don't know No. I've got lots of American friends. Talk to them on a regular basis. You're not fucking isolationist. Yeah? You like cheddar, for fuck's sake. So, yes. Oh, what we got here? Oh. So, unfortunately, I don't always say that we're from the United States. We don't... They know that you're from the United States. We can tell. We can spot them. I can spot English tourists. I've got good enough. I can spot Finnish tourists. Yeah, that's Finnish tourists. I can spot. Yeah, Finnish ones, not the Finnish Swedish ones.
We kind of a while back we gently poked fun by playing that Harry Enfield sketch, right? And I've since seen, because he did a few of those sketches, right? Yeah. And genuinely, right, the American people that I've met, they get on the bus and they're all, hi there, but they genuinely are usually quite friendly. And the thing is, when I was travelling, I actually got into conversation with quite a few American couples like that, right? On the bus, they've been going, hi there, we're the blah, blah. And it's like, and the English in me go, oh God, Americans.
The closest I got to one of those Americans was in Iceland, when one of the group of Americans that were, I think it was 6 of them, was asking really stupid questions, and the friends were like, "Shut up! You're making us look thick."
I met some really cool couples actually when I was travelling, and every now and then we do bump into a couple here that you get talking to. Actually, the Americans that you meet, certainly here for the most part, really nice people. It's not that they're not the problem in this country.
Yeah. No,
so you should never be ashamed where you come from. Actually, as much as I said what I did at the beginning, most of the American couples we meet here are well respected, and they are respectful. More to the point.
Most Americans who travel are usually quite respectful and quite understanding.
That's because they're
educated. And I've worked with Americans, yeah, and they're fine. One of them, this guy, said that the £2 coin, the British £2 coin, is the best coin ever made. If you've ever seen a £2 coin, it's a fantastic coin. It really is. He was like, every time I get a chance, I just want one of these, he said. Sydney's selling soap. Yep.
Does it for me, mate.
Yeah, we did it. We covered that last time, didn't we? It was actually through you, Biffy. You sent me the tweet. I like Dr. Squanch's, who's the company that does it, soaps as they are. They're quite good smelling. Downsides only last about 3 hours, smell-wise, when you do it. Who cares about anything but who's the best qualified? Close your eyes and choose. Colour doesn't matter one bit. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, and it always bugged the idea of picking someone because of the colour of the skin was always a stupid thing for me, because it should always have been the best person who's suited for the role or with the best skills, and that should be colourblind as it is. Yeah. Or you ask 2 questions: 1, are you going to fit inside the team, and 2, can you do the job? That's it. They're the ones. It's not like kind of what's between your legs. What do you like doing at the weekend when it comes to sexual activity? No, doesn't.
I should do that. I should do that LOLO sketch. What's between your legs? It's the fallen Madonna with the big boobies.
Big boobies. Oh my god. Oh, fucking hell, yeah. I like Ryan Gosling. Chuck and I watched The Fall Guy. Yes, The Fall Guy was a good movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Love Emily Blunt. So yeah, Emily Blunt. I like Emily Blunt too. I think the best one she's been in is the one with Tom Cruise, Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, I always wish they had done a sequel to that movie. It was a good movie, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
What about? Yeah, it was. And Hannah reminding us it's Trelawney, even though she can't spell it.
Don't worry.
This was the one. Snape Doggy Dog.
Snape Doggy Dog. If he comes in smoking a big biff, I'll go, alright, fair enough.
Gareth is fixing Russian and American relations.
While sipping martinis.
I have to find that clip where I was kidnapped by Vladimir Putin. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do remember that one. Yes.
Clip. We have to find that clip.
That was bloody very funny. That you're right. That is one modern ad that does work. I will give you that. It's a thing that there was a period in British TV where there were just the most amazing ads, and we had some brilliant ones. I mean, there's one from Thai that I still show. There's a Thai one that was great. Do you remember the Thai one where they get into the back of they get into this tuk-tuk thing, and they like, you know, take us to the Chao Phraya River, and he just the guy that looks really Thai turns around and goes, "Sorry, Gov, don't go south the river." And it was a joke because people got that in London all the time. It was brilliant.
Fucking hate that that's a stupid thing for cabbies to do.
Yeah, it was brilliantly well done, and I've forgotten it. And there was like brilliant catchphrases: "Buy one, get one free." I always remember that one. And the Del Monte adverts, they were brilliant. I think there were so many good adverts back then, and there aren't anymore. I mean, unfortunately, the smoking adverts tended to be really good.
Keith, I've got an idea. I will save it for after the podcast.
That and the Weetabix adverts. There was a Weetabix
Tango
advert.
And pot noodles.
Yes, Tango
Keith.
and pot noodles. Yes, they were good.
The slag of all snacks.
But the Weetabix advert, they put one on it was genius. They did it. I remember first seeing it in the cinema, and then they put it on the television, but they put it in front of, what was the Kevin Costner Robin Hood film? It's like, Robin Hood riding through the glen. And there was some line, spies the sheriff eating his Weetabix. Should he retreat back to Sherwood? Cause he should.
All right.
It was genius. Anyway. Yes, right, traders.
And last comment, because Americans are typically nicer abroad than they are at home. I've been to the States loads. Americans have always been polite to us. It's always been quite good. And on that note, don't put yourself down, for fuck's sake. You went to the moon, for crying out loud. We did invent the internet, though. It wasn't you, it was us. We invented the internet. Tim Berners-Lee. Just saying. Oh. Sarcasm. Don't die. Right, okay, so got a couple of trailers for you. One is Alien Earth, and we're going to watch that now. So
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How's our girl?
She's ready.
You're gonna be the first person to transition from a human body to a synthetic.
Because I'm special.
That's right. You're very, very special.
We have a downed spacecraft.
I want what's on that ship.
We can do it. We're fast, we're strong, we don't break.
It's like a zoo, but the animals got out.
This ship collected 5 different life forms from the darkest corners of the universe.
Monsters.
It's Thailand. That's Bangkok.
That's a goat, you fuckwit.
No, that building was in Bangkok. They filmed a lot of
Invasive
it here.
species. Predatory.
If we don't lock them down, it will be too late.
So
Hulu, Keith. It's on Hulu. Hulu.
Hulu,
Say
yeah.
it, Keith. Hulu.
Honolulu.
Hulu. Right.
Which means you'll be on Disney Plus around the world.
Yeah, right. So. Peter Pan references. There's lots of Peter Pan references in this.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Windy, the character's name here. Windy's the name. Yeah. Neverland Ranch. So I think the alien is going to be like the fucking crocodile in Peter Pan, and it's just going to turn up from time to time and fucking chomp people. I think they'll be dealing with those other shit and having to deal with the fucking alien. Yeah.
5 species from the corners of the
Yeah.
They're not going to put a bloody predator in this, do you think?
No, but I wouldn't. A predator might show up because it would be good sport. If that makes sense.
I'm just wondering if that's what they're hiding. I know where this is filmed because we inadvertently run into the film set when they started filming this a couple of years ago. They've been making this for a while.
So
it
so
kind of gave me vibes of there's vibes of the first movie here. I mean, I know you love the first movie.
They had the old spaceship. So
Yeah.
Here's the twist. Yeah, she didn't get transferred across. They copied her, so she still fucking exists. That we'll find out later on in the film, which is going to make
it's
this
not a film, it's
make
a
the
TV
Android one.
series.
TV series. Sorry,
Yeah.
TV series. So they got this ship. It crashes. They decide, hey, we can send the synthetics out. Where's Timothy Oliphant? Because you can't see him very well in it. Because slightly psychotic thing in it. So these here are all synthetics. They're your lost boys, basically. Because they won't grow up. Because they're androids. But they've got the only species that they kind of point towards is, where is it? So they've got the 5 species. You've got the alien, yeah, which is everyone knows. And then you've got the big thing here. And where is it? I need to get the squid. So the first thing's Noah Hawley. Good choice.
Yeah.
Noah Hawley did Legion. Everyone liked Legion. Let's see if I can find this bloody thing. So you have this evil squid thing, and you can read the details, I think, on the screen. But I can't find the sodding thing. Where is it? But the evil squid thing, because there's like a jellyfish thing, and with the jellyfish thing is, and I know what it is. This thing here, yeah, and it jumps on your head, bores through your eyes, and takes over your brain. Kind of like if you've ever seen the parasites affect slugs. So you've got that there, but there are other surprises too, because you've got like there's another big green egg thing there. So I think they go in there, they manage to retrieve a good chunk of this shit, take it back to the Neverland Ranch. And I don't know if these... I don't think these are...
alien eggs.
Xenomorph eggs. Yeah. Yeah. So
You liked this trailer, didn't you?
I can't say I didn't watch it more than once. But it was the idea that you've got other creatures in there too. But the Xenomorph's going to be the one that just turns... The Big Daddy that just turns around and kills fucking everything on sight. But it's the squid thing that everyone's been talking about, because I've got some bits here. But I want to find the fucking thing, because you get like a frame of it.
He's a busy actor right now.
Who's that? Oh.
Because he's got to come back for the... Even though he's dead, but he's not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the jellyfish thing. Yeah, okay.
No. I'll show you the jellyfish thing when it pops up, because it's actually in the trailer. There's Timothy Oliphant. Where is it?
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No.
I thought it was a face hugger. It's not. I mean, that's Xenomorph.
There it was.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you that.
I have to go here. Turn the speed down. It's like fucking 25%, and then see if I can pause it properly. But yeah, you're gonna have multiple creatures, lots of thingies, bits, but yeah, it's like a menagerie of evil shit. There it is. That's the thing
evil. But it's kind of got cute
so that's
eyes.
One.
Oh no! Now it's freaky.
Yeah, you don't say that when you see it burrow into someone's skull through their eye sockets. Yeah, no, I looked at that. Plenty of stuff. Yeah, interesting. I'm looking forward to that. So yes. Yeah. It's gonna be gross. If you don't like gruesome things, you might not enjoy that. Just saying.
What is Alien?
It's Alien. Yeah. All right, that's something a bit more pleasant. We were wondering what Amazon were going to do with James Bond, and I'm hoping this might have been one of the first things that they did for the makers of Hitman.
Aston Martin. Vantage. Good.
His parents cut their own rope to save him. He watched them fall, then found his way off that mountain. He was 11 years old.
He then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his class.
Both of these
Always at odds with authority. Same thing in the Navy.
His superiors all praise his instincts.
And they're all in need of early retirement. Nobody knows what to do with him, Mom.
No, and I suspect he feels the same way. But what he did in Iceland...
What he did in Iceland was insubordination. It was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless. He only survived thanks to blind luck. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
I think you just covered them all, Greenway. It's really quite simple. Bond is a bullet without a target.
You know what the funny thing is? I always describe Bond as in he's a psychopath. You can't point him at the enemy and go, fuck him up. Yeah? And they managed to sum that up in a line there.
Let's give him one.
I'm trying to keep my comments straight, but I think my face
James
says
Bond.
this all.
He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
So you shouldn't have.
We're facing a situation of the utmost delicacy. I need all my pieces on the board.
009 is a master manipulator. Whatever the endgame is, we won't see it coming.
Jet lag gets me every time.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
With respect, Mom. To hell with that.
It's a game, Lauren.
It's a game.
It's an advantage.
I will explain in a second.
James?
Lately, headhunting.
Thailand again.
Right. The reason I brought this up is, with the exception of a couple of things, it ticks a good chunk of my James Bond boxes.
Dude, it ticks... Dude, that is more
Just the
fucking
age.
James Bond than James Bond has been in years, right? I don't actually mind them doing a younger Bond, right? That could be the new thing they do, right? Female M kind of works for me, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine with me. The game's a
You'll be
bit weird
compared to
because
Judi
they you know, purposefully casting things, and you can tell it's still infected by that bunch of gaming idiots. But Aston Martin, cheesy one-liners, fucking secret hidden underbelly, an older Q. It ticks the James. It's fucking Bond.
Yeah.
It's like, can you please make the next movie like this, please, fucking please?
Yeah. Because, as I said, if this is Amazon's first time doing this, it'd be good.
Yeah.
It needs to be. It sounds awful. It needs to play like Uncharted.
Well, people have called it James Uncharted Bond. And there was all these comments on the trailer, like calling it Uncharted was negative. And I went,
no, it's not.
Uncharted were really good games. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched this and just went, holy shit, this feels more like James Bond than I've seen in years. You know, the one-liners, jet lag. Brilliant line. Bond, you see, you and I were discussing, we said it has to go back to being a bit more like the Pierce Brosnan Bond, right?
Yeah.
And that feels like it. It ticks the boxes. The Aston Martin, love the classic Vantage being back. One of the best things about the Timothy, what's its face? The Vantage, right? It had a cue with him pressing the buttons in the thing. The secret underground base, Bond one-liners, Money Penny, the sort of flirting with Moneypenny, but you always tell that Moneypenny gave as much back as you think. Again, I quite like the idea of Boss's Bond being a woman. I think that works. Judi Dench is my favourite M of all time because
the problem is it has to be as good as Judi Dench, though.
Oh, I think there's a few actresses out there that could pull off an M. I think there's quite a few out
pull
there.
off James Bond, then.
No, I think there's quite a few British actresses that could still do a good M. But that worked for me. That trailer works for me.
As I said, I put it through there. It's some tick box. It's done by the guys who did Hitman. So Hitman gameplay is quite fluid. You've got multiple ways of completing things, and then I imagine that would probably be the same thing there. If it has the story elements, and as I said, the bits, it will have the stealthy bits and other thingy, but it's gonna. As I said, it ticks all the James Bond boxes in that presentation. Whether it's going to be that is something else entirely, because we know trailers.
Yeah, I mean, it might be one of those where it's not the greatest of games, but look, that trailer is how the next movie should be.
Mm.
Interesting that they're picking, but it was a very much a Bond, highlighted Bonds, Thailand, because Thailand is synonymous with Bond. But it is.
Make a joke then, but I won't. No, I was going to make a joke.
Even when it's not meant to be Thailand, it is Thailand. What the world? What was it? The world? No, what was the one? The Tomorrow Never Dies. Wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be China, and it wasn't. It was here. I loved that trailer. As a Bond fan, I liked the trailer. As a gaming fan, I can see people were poking at the graphics and the bit where the Vantage is which is clearly gameplay, didn't look that great. But I don't care. As a James Bond fan, I was just going yes, and it was just going tick, 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 tick. This is more fucking Bond than any of the Craig movies, and it suddenly made me going, I want Bond back. I want James Bond back. We don't, he doesn't need to be shagging everything that freaking moves, but you can still have the things that made James Bond, like the one-liners, like the freaking gun, like all of that. And can it be a younger Bond again? Can it be a Bond, at the start? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Totally. It's but as I said, the reason I put it in our notes is because I watched that and I went, okay, the youth bit, not too keen on. I'll be frank with you. But everything else, I was like, this is what I asked for. Can I have this now in like a film shape?
I was
TV
going to
shape even.
I had a really busy day, and I was good because I watched it, and then I got stupidly busy at work, and I was trying to find a moment where I could send you the trailer and go, have you seen this yet? Because it's fucking Bond, and then you beat me to it, and I immediately replied to you going, that's more Bond than Bond has been in 20 years, and it's fantastic. I really, I mean, I want that to be the next movie. I genuinely do. In actual fact, the actor that was sort of dissing Bond would be a really good protagonist for Bond.
Greenaway. No, he's the one that he wins over at the end.
Yes,
he's
that's
the
what
one.
I want.
That's his role in it, is to turn around and goes, he's a loose cannon, blah blah blah, and then at the end he goes, well, he gets the job fucking done. That's what it is. He's got that thing there.
But I love M's comment. He's a bullet without a gun or something. It's brilliant. This is Bond. That trailer nailed it. And seriously, Amazon, if you're behind this, if you're the one that's sort of doing this, okay, you've suddenly given me hope.
Yes, that's, as I said, that's one of the reasons I put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will it? Oh, please, for the love of God. Anyway, let's talk about do Clarkson's Farm.
We can do it briefly. The last two episodes, again, why the fuck they didn't just release it half and half or even all together. The first thing I want to say, right, is I don't know if this was editing, right, because he clearly had a falling out, but those two idiot women that he brought in that banged on about knowing pubs, right? We live and breathe pubs. Pubs are our thing. We know pubs. And they did that way before the pub opened, right? To then take a huge dump on the pub the day it opens going, this is not fit to be a pub. We know pubs and this is the thing. It's like, you were the one setting the damn thing up, right? And 40,000 for a bunch of umbrellas. I would have had the same reaction as Clarkson. Whether it was editing or not, it made those two women look like a bunch of stupid idiots. It did not. They did not come off very well in that at all.
No, they did not.
And then they fucked off the next day.
The guy in charge of the kitchen, he looked incredibly fucking stressed, didn't he?
He did.
He did. All the way through that, he looked so fucking stressed. And it's just like, you're looking at him. But he stayed and got on with it.
He's still there. He's still there now. He came up on their Instagram feed the other day discussing new menus. And funny enough, they're just about to buy a ketchup, all made in Britain, because some fucking guy saw this and went, I bet we can make he's got a business making British condiments, right? Using, so making things that are not typically found in Britain, but making British versions of it, right? And he's just made a ketchup and Clarkson jumped all over it and said, we'll buy it. So they might have a ketchup, but it will be a British ketchup, which I thought was fantastic. I saw that pop up on Instagram the other day, and I thought that's a really good story. I really want to go and try the pub. I know you've been to Diddley Squat, but I kind of want to go with you and stuff. So wait until I come back and we'll go and try the pub. I'll treat you to a dinner. We'll on me. I'll buy you a pint at Clarkson's pub. I know it's expensive.
You sure?
I know it's expensive, but
you'll be like, can we go offs?
No, I'm not. I really want to go to. I want to go and try the pub. I do. I like the idea.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the last two episodes. I found it interesting. I found it funny. I would have killed Caleb as well.
It's weird because I watched that and I saw it from both perspectives. One, Caleb was like he knows that he's stressing out over the pub. That's why he was over there helping out constantly. And he's like, well, I can just do the harvest. It'll be easy. We won't lose anything. Everything will be fine. He might appreciate it. But at the same time, too, it is his favourite time of year. And he felt a bit fucking put out by it. And he was trying to be nice, but he fucked up, if that makes any sense. Yeah. That's how I saw it. Mm. Should we talk about Star Trek and space?
I mean, the thing is, right, somebody made a comment the other day. Amazon spent £1 million on one of the greatest fantasy series of all time with one of the greatest British fantasy authors of all time.
Billion,
that was it, right? Amazon's most watched TV series is just a picture of Jeremy Clarkson on the farm. I went, yes! It's so fucking true. Clarkson's Farm is Amazon's most watched show. Brilliant.
I think it's because the more I like about it is it highlights the problems with farmers. I really need to check to see if there are any US reactions to people watching Clarkson's Farm, as in US farmers, seeing what the difference is, and maybe some Dutch farmers and German farmers, etc.
The only criticism I have is I'd wish they had made the plight, because fuck you, Keir Starmer, and this is the one and only time I'm going to get thing. I wish they had shown Clarkson up in London protesting over what the government's doing to farmers with the inheritance tax, because all these people who are these uneducated idiots that think farmers have got like millions of pounds, so how dare they not pay inheritance tax? They've got fuck all money. The land is worth the money, but they don't see that. It's not like they're all driving around in fucking Porsches. They're not Jeremy Clarksons. They are asset rich and they are fucking poor, right? What the British government is doing to farmers is fucking atrocious, right? And anybody that criticises this inheritance thing, get your fucking heads out from your asses and go and do some Googling. Right, before you think that they're all millionaires, sitting there, on great big piles of cash, because they're not. This inheritance thing, tax thing that they're doing to British farmers is fucking atrocious, and it really makes me angry. Inheritance tax is evil anyway. But fuck you, Labour, for what you're doing to the farmers. And I wish Clarkson's Farm had shown a bit more of that, because people need to be educated in this, because people do not understand. They think that farmers are all fucking rich people running around thing, and how dare they not pay inheritance tax? You've got no bloody clue. And I know farmers, so yeah.
I'd offer them healthy tax rebates in places, which would probably be more helpful. Anyway, can we talk about something nice? Can we talk about space pirates?
You really enjoyed Gambit, didn't you?
Out of all the ones, with the exception of Best of Both Worlds, I really enjoyed it. It was Treasure Island space piratey goodness, and it had I can't remember that actor's name who was in bloody Buck Rogers as one of the bad guys. He had him in it. Riker and Picard. It starts off, Picard's dead. We saw him vaporized over there, but it's the old teleporting, vaporizing thing. Because technically, when you get teleported, you do get vaporized, which is always the bit that puts me off about kind of transporters. It's like you're going to disintegrate me and rebuild me on the other side. I get my nose wrong or something. Anyway, but yeah, it was. I really fucking enjoyed it, and it was. I couldn't remember where it was going at the end, which I think made it better for me, because I got it confused with another episode, and because of that, it worked out quite well, because you had this. Vulcan fundamentalist in there, which you first time you come across a Vulcan fundamentalist who was like we've got this psionic weapon, and it's like only if you're fucking angry and aggressive. Also featured Caitlin Brown, who played Natuth in B5 without a lizard makeup on. She had big head makeup on, but I just enjoyed it. It was good.
You said Data was a dick.
Fuck me, yeah. The ensign, yeah? It was a total dick to the ensign. It's like kind of the ship's disappeared. It's clearly got some kind of fucking stealth capability, you prick. You should have figured that out, yeah? It's like you lost it. It's like, because the way he approached it goes, oh, you lost the ship, like that. And it was like, kind of, I would have kept track of that ship. And it's like, no, you fucking wouldn't. It's stealth. Piss off.
Okay,
I didn't like that.
That line, he was a dick. But that was the only time. I think Wolf was being a bit of a dick as well. And
Wolf
I did
was
like
always
her.
a dick.
Yeah, but Data does quite nicely slap him down.
I showed you that clip of him. He murdered a kid during a head.
No, you know what? Right, that's from the Riser episode, and he was winding up Dax. Because what it doesn't show is because he sits there because Dax is having a go at him, right, for not making any jokes, right, and he gets in the Riser episode, he gets irritated because Dax always making jokes, right, and that's towards the end of the episode. She's sitting there looking at him completely thing, and then again. The what's his face as Wolf is just such a great actor. There is a very small curl of his mouth. It's so subtle. Then Dax realizes he's taking the piss. It was a joke, and it's at the end of the episode. But it's a fucking good episode of DS9 actually. I will admit I did not know the title, but I knew the episode. Just saying.
It was. I watched that because I wasn't. I think my deep memory of Deep Space Nine is not as clear as certain bits of. So like Voyager, I think from like season 3 to season 5, I've got clear memory of everything that happens there.
You've got a clearer memory of season 5 to about season 7 of Deep Space Nine, because that's when I started buying the videos, and you'd come around and we'd get drunk watching Deep Space Nine.
And that might be why I had trouble remembering.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine was more the vodka times. when we did lose memory.
It was pub, Chinese, and then watch Voyager or Deep Space Nine.
You do realise that the only time I've ever lost memory because I was so fucking drunk was with you. I still don't know what the fuck we did down the river. I've never remembered.
It wasn't anything bad, Keith.
No,
I remember we just talked bollocks.
Lost 4
hours. The way you make it
lives.
Sound.
Well,
the way you made it sound. Woke up with a sore ass. Didn't wake up with sore ass. All right, so we'll park it there. But before we go,
Gambit was good.
Before we go, Gambit was good. Can you see this?
I know. I laughed because I know what it is, and I know the meaning to it, and I've seen the video.
Yes. So my wife made me one of these things. It's a little repo bot thing. It's yeah. It lives at my desk.
Because all the other repos pick on Gareth.
Yes, all the other repos pick on me. But hang on a second.
This was actually quite good. This was quite funny.
No, this is a different one. Echo, let's have a conversation.
Oh wait, no, that's me.
Did you get her?
No. Yes, Gareth. Let's have a conversation. No, let's be polite human beings. Really? Somebody get her. Where is it?
Who was
get it.
Who was coming to your
Paul.
aid?
Paul comes to my rescue. Yeah,
because in the other one he pushes her off the freaking side, doesn't he? She pushes you down after you pathetically plead for your life, right? And he comes in and smacks her over. And I went, yeah,
yeah, that's quite funny. Hang on a second. Have I got that one? I don't know if I've got that one stashed here. That's a good one. What do they call? What do they call a Whopper in? Not a Whopper. Yeah, it is a Whopper in France. Flame grilled American retard.
Sorry, I don't laugh at that, but yeah. Perhaps somebody got suspended for using that word in EastEnders, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, it's been a blast.
It has.
Yes. Next week it's the final. It is the final next gen. Two-parter. There are.
Yeah.
And then we are on to Deep Space Nine.
Yes, which I'm more happier about.
Yes.
Because there's a lot. When you get to season 3 of Deep Space Nine, it's pretty good.
But there are some episodes. I am thinking that we might have to break the 2-episode rule, because I'd love to do the Magnificent Ferengi. That's a fucking great episode. It's got Iggy fucking Pop in it.
He's one of the Vorta, isn't he?
Yes, but it's the one with where the Ferengi kill the Vorta and then they have to animate. Watch it. It's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant, that episode. It's a really good episode of Deep Space Nine. Generally one of the most funny ones. The Magnificent Ferengi. It's a fucking brilliant episode. Anyway, yes, right. See you next week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for just being here and being you. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.